All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Recently, Dustin Poirier went on the Outta Pocket podcast with former NFL quarterback RG3 and completely tore Michael Chandler a new one, okay? And I am absolutely here for it. I have been ringing the cheater bells on Michael Chandler for a very long time and always defended the way Dustin Poirier acted after their fight while he was receiving backlash for being a sore winner. Okay, a few months back, I did a worst cheater in the UFC tier list video, and Michael Chandler was featured in the S tier category alongside Priscilla Cachoeira. So I just absolutely love it when fighters go in on Michael Chandler. Okay, it's one of my favorite things to listen to. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. We will go over a few clips from that podcast and then a clip from a Michael Chandler interview that, in my opinion, proves a lot of what Dustin Poirier says about him. So let's get into that first clip.
Chandler.
Oh, that's real.
That's real.
Yeah, that's real. And I'm gonna tell you right now, everybody asks, well, why does this guy look? I don't hate anybody.
Right.
Why does this guy dislike this guy so much? People on the internet say, hey, I don't hate anybody. Why do I dislike him so much? It comes back to this. Long time ago, I was at a Bellator event.
Okay.
He was fighting on the card. He won. He comes in the back. And I've been seeing you walking around this week with so-and-so. I just wanted to come over and shake your hand. I respect you so much, man. Your career has been awesome. You've had so many great fights. You've come back from adversity. You and your wife, your foundation, everything. Man, it's really amazing. So nice to finally meet you and shake your hand.
Right.
Fast forward a year, 2 years, whatever, he makes it to the UFC. Now he's talking trash on me, you know? So right then and there, the next time I see him, I never see him again from the Bellator event. Great meeting, nice, had a great small conversation, you know? Then he's talking trash. Saying like he gets a mic and does the fashion show thing.
Right.
Says some outlandish stuff. And I'm like, nah, this guy. And then I saw him in Vegas. He was coming into an event at the T-Mobile Arena. And that's the first time I saw him since.
Right.
So I said, you little bitch. I said, he walked in front of the security. I said, man, you a fake motherfucker. I said, I will beat your ass. And then they booked the fight. I wasn't trying, I was just telling him how I really felt.
Right,
what he did at the
right.
Bellator show and then what he did on the mic.
Right.
I was still that same guy from the Bellator show. I was like, oh, and then he starts talking trash. I'm like, oh, this guy's really fake.
Right.
He's fake, bro. And he might be a good.
Now, I'm going to be honest. I could not, for the life of me, remember how it all started, what the issue was that Dustin initially had with Michael Chandler. And even there, he's a little bit vague in explaining the situation. He says that he was very kind to him at Bellator, came up, shook his hand, told him how much he respected him, and all the rest of it. And then he started talking shit about him. Okay, so I went and did a little bit of digging because I couldn't remember. It's been a while, and fighters beef all the fucking time. Okay, but I believe it started because Michael Chandler called Dustin Poirier a quitter after he tapped to a rear naked choke against Charles Oliveira at UFC 269, which is absolutely fucking hilarious when you think about the way that feud kind of ended. Now, I know they still, well, at least Dustin goes back and forth with Michael Chandler, but Dustin Poirier was the first person to submit Michael Chandler and force him to tap. So that is absolutely beautiful, I think, okay, if I'm being honest. I've always said this about Dustin Poirier. I don't think the guy is into selling fights and shit like that. I think if you're going to talk shit to him before the fight, I think he takes it personally. And then I think he carries that over, especially if he wins, because I feel like at that point, he feels like he's earned bragging rights, okay? So, listen, I don't have much of an issue with the way that he acts after he beats guys. I just don't. I don't see the issue. You can say everything you fucking want to before the fight, but then after he knocks you out, he's not allowed to talk a little bit of shit. It's just a little bit weird to me. Either way, let us continue on to the next clip.
And he might be a good person at home, but my personal experience, he's fake, man.
Yeah, you don't like it when people
He's
say
fake.
one thing to your face and then say something else when they get a mic in front.
That's like me and you right now. Just had dinner, having fun. I meet your wife, meet your crew, and hey, bro, nice to meet you. Big fan.
Right.
And then you see me on Ariel Helwani's MMA show and going, man, RG3, he's okay. I mean, not really that cool of a guy.
Please don't do that.
No, but you would feel like, man, what the
Yeah,
heck?
what
That's
the
how I
heck?
felt.
I got you.
But we do this knuckle shit, so I was even more mad. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, let's fight then.
Okay, and that's just kind of a continuation of that first clip where he just gives an example of what that would be like for RG3 and how it annoyed him. And again, I just don't think Dustin Poirier understands the concept of selling a fight, or he just doesn't give a shit, and he can't really control what does and does not anger him. Okay, now I also want to point out, in this entire podcast, throughout this whole interview, Dustin Poirier has sounded more Cajun than I've ever heard him sound ever before. Okay, so something that I want to throw out there that I think would be fucking awesome, okay, is if Dustin Poirier in his, post-fight career did a celebrity appearance on Swamp People, because if he speaks like this, I think he'd fit right in. Okay, now let's move on to the portion that we all know about, and that is Michael Chandler being a dirty, fucking slimy cheater.
Fighting.
Okay?
You proved your point.
Yeah.
You definitely proved your
And
point.
he's a cheater. And then, dude, bro, I could go on for days. I get so amped up about this.
Let it
'Cause
out.
let me
Let
tell
it
you
out.
what. I get pissed off. He does all kind of stuff, man. Blows the blood in my eyes after I break his nose. That's cool. I've done that before. I'm not mad at him for that. It's war.
Right.
Whatever, we're
By
fighting.
any means necessary.
Yeah.
Without cheating.
Without cheating. That's
Yes.
just, I've done that. A guy broke my nose in Vegas. I fought a guy named Joseph Duffy, the first guy to ever beat Conor McGregor. He made it to the UFC. I fought him. Robbie Lawler and Carlos Condit was the main event. I fought him there. We might have got fight of the night or something. Or, no, we got something. It was bloody fight. But anyway, I was bleeding all over him,
Right.
elbowing him, trying to make him blink so I could, elbow him. I was on top of him. But I admitted it after.
Yeah.
And then Chandler, I brought it up, and he said he didn't do it. Like, just admit it, bro. You're so fake. Then he stuck his fingers in my mouth
Oh my God.
to lift my neck up for a rear naked choke, right? He's on my back. I'm trying to get up off the fence. He sticks his fingers inside my mouth, grips my mouth guard,
pull it up.
pulls my head up to try to get his hand under my chin. Bro, I bite his fingers so hard. Let me tell you what.
Some Mike Tyson stuff.
Hey, you heard it here first. Let me tell you what. If I didn't have a mouth guard on my top teeth, if my
Right.
teeth could touch together,
You bit his fingers off?
oh, bro, he'll be walking and rocking like this forever. Hey, because I had a grip so good, I felt my bottom teeth go into his skin. I bet you he was cut. He knows what I'm talking about, you hoe.
That's real hate, right? No, not hate. Not
Okay,
hate.
now I find it hilarious that RG3 was like, that's real hate right there, when Dustin Poirier opened this whole segment off trying to explain that he doesn't hate anybody, I just dislike him. Okay, now RG3 does correct himself because he realizes what he just said, but I just thought it was funny because when you hear somebody go off on someone like that, that is usually the word that, comes to mind. Okay, I don't know why he's a shit. I would just say I fucking hate him. He's a dirty cheater. Now, something I want to point out is at the beginning when he's talking about the nose blowing shit. First of all, Dustin cannot be mad about it, but that is illegal, and I appreciate that he admits that he also did that, so he wasn't all that upset about it. But when he gets to the fingers, babe, I'm surprised we didn't get a baby in there. Honestly, he sounds so fucking Cajun, okay? And yes, I'm aware he's from Louisiana. That's why I'm mentioning it. It's just funny because I haven't really heard him sound... the accent has never been this strong, at least not when I'm listening to him. But when he explains about the fish hooking and all the rest of it, and this is absolutely a trend from Michael Chandler, okay? I understand the argument that people make where they say, yeah, but Michael Chandler's so entertaining and his fights are so crazy, shit's bound to happen. Listen, if it had happened once or twice, I'd probably let it slide. The problem is it's a very consistent pattern, and while I do concede that his fights are very exciting, a lot of those exciting moments are often caused by him cheating, okay? And, like Dustin said, which we're gonna get to in just a second here, he will not ever admit that he cheated, not even just in the Dustin Poirier fight.
So what bothered you most, the performance or the commentary? What was leaving you with a bit of a sour taste in your mouth?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of the commentary when it comes to, some of the stuff that they were saying, the misinterpretation of what the back of the head is by the unified rules of mixed martial arts, the misinterpretation of what cage grabbing is, and a couple of different things. It's all water under the bridge at this point. But more than anything, I'm an honest guy. I try to live pretty full of integrity and full of honesty, and a narrative that has been painted is not very interesting to me, not very happy about it, but it's all part of it. Well, I don't think I did anything wrong. I'm not going to say I didn't do anything wrong. Okay. I'm not going to say that people couldn't look at it and splice it and look at it from under a fine-tooth comb and a magnifying glass. But the unified rules of mixed martial arts say that there is a line drawn from the crown of the head, if this were the back of the head, the crown of the head down to the neck, 1 inch variance on either side. So you're talking about a 2-inch area on the back of someone's head that is considered the back of the head. And if you watch 90% of the shots, at least, most of them, almost all of them, or at least where I was aiming, all of them, my fist was catching the ear. So if you're catching the ear, that is not the back of the head. And actually, the back of the head is not really, what you and I would call the back of the head is not what the actual definition of the back of the head is, that 2-inch strip down the back of the head.
Now the absolute fucking audacity, okay, to look in the camera and say you are an honest, honorable man who's full of integrity, while being completely and totally unable to concede that you probably hit him in the back of the head without gaslighting everybody and saying, no, you know, maybe you could look at it at a certain angle under a fine-tooth microscope, whatever the fuck. No, dude, we're all watching on TV. You know, there's no microscope there. We could see it very clearly. And then he goes on to say, I don't want to even, you know, spend too much time on this because I did an entire video on this interview. But when he says that if I'm catching the ear, by definition, I can't be hitting the back of the head. Well, you could, because your forearm or elbow type area was hitting the back of the head while you were catching the ear with your fist. Pretty simple and basic, okay? And also, it happened numerous times. Also, you eye poked him numerous times in that fight. Also, you cage grabbed multiple times in that fight, okay? And one other thing that drives me absolutely fucking nuts, as somebody who for, you know, since the time I was 17 years old, has worked in either carpentry, construction, or woodworking, okay? So I get a little bit fucking anal when we're talking about measurements here. I have never seen a smaller 2 inches in my life. And he holds up those 2 fingers, okay? That is absolutely pathetic. And it got smaller the second time. And again, dude, if it happened a time or in a fight or whatever, I would not focus on this so much. But Michael Chandler, the problem is he has fouled in almost all of his fights. He fouled Dustin Poirier multiple times, fouled Justin Gaethje, fouled Charles Oliveira in, I think, both fights. It is very consistent. Okay, and there's one more clip I want to show you from an even more recent interview where he gets asked about the idea of referees taking points for eye pokes.
Last thing, did you watch the fights this weekend, and in particular the main event?
I did.
Cejudo's song and how it all finished. We were talking about it extensively at the top of the show. Just curious your take very quickly. I thought a point should be taken away.
Very interesting scenario. I would lean toward the camp of, hey, Jason Herzog knows what he's talking about, maybe because it was at the very end of the third round and he, you know, decided to stand up. I guess he didn't really say I can't see, or maybe he did say I can't see at the end of the third round. I don't know. It was very interesting, but it is unfortunate. An eye poke is tough because it's never on purpose, man. But at some point, it's a habit, right? I can train every single day, and if I keep training with my fingers out, I'm asking to poke somebody in the eye, right? If that's what I'm doing and I'm training. So I think we as coaches, we as teammates, we need to be training this, just like we train punches, keys, knees, kicks, and elbows. We need to be training the pawing / parrying / technique of the crash between.
Now I included this clip because I just thought it was funny that Michael Chandler, of course, is going to take the side of Jason Herzog not taking a point. And listen, I cut out a good chunk of his answer because it took him 3 minutes to get to what we listened to here, because that's how Michael Chandler talks, dude. He is the king of saying absolutely fucking nothing with as many words possible. Okay, that's just what he does. But also, I do think it's funny that he went on what appeared to be, or sounded like it, a hypothetical, where he said, well, if I do this and I do that and I do this in training, it's bound to happen, and it's never on purpose. Now, the part that bugs me about that is every instance of Michael Chandler poking somebody in the eye, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, I think he did Charles Oliveira multiple times, but either way, he was going forward. It was not a extended fingers measuring distance situation, or a posting off when your opponent is coming forward to try to keep your distance. It is always Michael Chandler engaging in this like cat swipe motion, okay? Like he's fucking Meowth. I think that's what his nickname should be. It's Meowth Chandler, because he just fury swipes you, okay, right in the fucking eye. And it drives me crazy. But yeah, I just thought it was funny. And again, super honest, super full of integrity, honorable man, all the shit, will never concede that he is in fact the cheater. So I think that's what Dustin Poirier was talking about on that podcast. And I'm going to be honest, I wholeheartedly agree with him, okay? Either way, dude, that's it. This has been us talking about what a cheater Michael Chandler is, which is one of my favorite pastimes, right? Like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I will see you at the next video. Bye-bye.